Hey yo, welcome back. Been trying to pick a good topic for today's video, and I keep coming back to this one. I had all these other ones that I wanted to do, and this one was kind of biting me a little bit because I didn't know where to go with it, but we're just gonna go with it. And it's interesting to see how it affects my life and how it doesn't affect my life, because less is more unless you want the most. Less is more unless you want the most. And I think the term less is more can be thrown around in a lot of things. And I know for a fact I have been trying to demonstrate the less is more lifestyle in my music, especially in my band, where now there's 11 of us on stage. And it can get really crowded. I learned that the hard way trying to set up for a show, and there was barely enough room to fit us. So, not saying that I would trade any of these guys. I love them. I'm talking about less is more in music, less is more in life. And I'm going to get back to the quote, unless you want the most. Less is more unless you want the most. When it comes to music, less is more. Stripping away your ideas until you can find that central nugget of wisdom, of inspiration, of sound. That is where music really resides. Even when it comes to orchestras and symphonies, you don't remember the 48 different instruments being played. If I were to ask you to say, all right, go in there and tell me what each instrument played, you don't remember that. You remember how it made you feel. You remember the melody. You remember the melody. You remember the emotion it convicted. So it's not a matter of sprinkling every single seasoning you can onto a song, or making the percussionist play 10 different parts just because you want an ocean sound. It's about bringing the right instruments, the right melody, the right energy together. Sometimes that takes 150 components. Sometimes it takes one. Some of the most purest ideas take only one instrument, one vessel. And we can see this in people. We can see this in music. We can see this in food. We can see this in our daily lives, where sometimes all you need is just that one. You can have 25 alarms go off, or you can have the one that made sure you get up out of bed. Less is more, because we're not really going for overwhelming. If it were that, everybody would just hoard all of the materialistic things. They would hold on to their trash and their garbage, and sometimes people do, and it's a weird cycle. But getting to the quote, unless you want the most, that is something that just came off the top of my head, and I'm going to see where it leads, because I definitely want the most out of my life. I want the most out of my life and the life of those around me. That's why I was having such a hard time getting to this topic, because less is more, but I want the most. So I'm still trying to figure out how to get more. And I think the question to that is to simplify and to downscale all of the things that I do. And finishing school and being able to do this stuff has really helped me take a step back and to say, I want to do these things. I want to do less, but make more. Make more money, make more connections, inspire more people, help others. I want to be able to produce more by doing less. And the more you can simplify and extract your process so it becomes less work, so it becomes less effort, I believe the more you can do. In the beginning, you have to do the most. When you get into a flow and you realize what you want, you simplify it down to less and less steps. That is where the production and the flow states happen. I know when I get behind my computer now and I start editing songs, there's a process. And it takes me less and less time to get the same results. Same with these videos. It takes me less and less time. I can put together a video in an hour if I need to. And I'm trying to make it even shorter. It doesn't mean that my quality's not there. It doesn't mean that my inspiration behind the music and behind the message isn't there. But some people can get so caught up on, I need to do more and I need everything. I was there. I like, part of me still wants an entire brass section and strings and backup singers and lights and all this stuff for my band. And now I'm in the mindset of thinking, all right, less is more. What is the core idea that I want to get across? How can I do that with less? And when you do it with less, it becomes more impactful. It's like one arrow. You got one arrow. You got one shot. You don't have 100 arrows. There's one target, one arrow, one idea. You have to do it with less. And I'm still going to be searching for more. So to me, it's this balance. It's this balance of, yes, less is more. But what else can I do? I want to do this. I want to make videos. I want to travel. I want to stay healthy. I want to make music. I want to influence all these things. But how do I narrow it down and I compress it into the most beneficial thing for me? Because I've definitely I've become overworked, stressed, as we all do every now and then. So it's interesting to come back to that less is more mindset. And to start doing less. I know I'm going to make another video on this in the future, because this is something that I'm still working through and trying to see how less can actually help me. Eating less, smoking less, indulging in the negative behaviors less. But then there are those other things in life that I just want more of, and I crave it. So I guess this video is to kind of share my mindset on this less is more theory, to see whether or not I believe in it or not. And I know through time, through experience of now doing less for more, I'm going to come back to this video and I'm going to see what the actual process was. Every time I step behind my guitar and my microphone, I always think less is more, but you still have to give the most. Every time I sit behind a drum set, especially, and I serve my role, I say less is more. But I still try and do the most. And I think that's an important balance to have when it comes to this mindset and this philosophy. Less is more, but you don't want to give any less than your best. So take it with a grain of salt. Season your life with as little as you can, but make sure that little bit of seasoning has to be the best coat of seasoning, of sauce, of sound, of texture that you can get in this life. So whatever brings you joy, whatever seasoning that may be, maybe hanging out with family, maybe exploring, maybe making music, making your videos, influencing, partying, you never know. Season it with as little as you can so you don't overindulge and overburden yourself. There's a fine balance. And I'm a big advocate for balance in this life. So please take this as you will. Think about it. How can you do less but serve your most high purpose? Less is more unless you want the most. So that is today's videos, guys. I hope this offered a little grain of knowledge, a little bit of insight to how I think and how I try to balance this life, because it is a juggling act for sure. So please balance your lives, balance your experience, hold back on what you know you need to reserve, and always give it your all. Always give 100%. So with that, stay lifted, stay blessed. Whoop, whoop. We'll see you tomorrow.